Hi everyone, this is Jody. Oh my gosh, I feel like a superstar because you guys watched my first What's for Supper video like a lot. Like I was shocked, and what just touched me so much is all the comments that I had and like connecting with people from way back when and people I know now. And so thank you. That just makes me feel so good. And hopefully there's some value in like watching the video. This is gonna be a little shorter though. What's for supper? New Orleans barbecue shrimp with a jalapeno cornbread served with honey, lime, butter over rice. So what I call this is like my signature dish, and I hope every one of you would have a signature dish where it's kind of like your go-to thing that, company's coming, I'm gonna make this, or it's a special occasion, I'm gonna make this, and you kind of know it back and forth by heart, and it turns out well, and people love it. So I've taught this recipe for a long time in my classes, and I'll tell you a funny story and then we'll get started because it doesn't take that long. Seriously, you can make this in about 10 minutes, but rice is going to take a little bit longer, and the jalapeno bread is going to take longer. So all right, so this was before cell phones, and I was a teacher for a few years, and I had a student who came to class like this every day. Did not look like he was like engaged. He just seemed like did not care about cooking at all, and kind of just came and went to class. That's okay, because there are students who like maybe cooking isn't their thing. But anyways, I got a phone call one night. It was like 9:30, maybe closer to 10. And this is when, like I said, no cell phones. So the first thing you do is panic. My kids were still at home, so I didn't panic for them, but panic for something else. Like, who's calling me this late? There's kind of a rule, don't call anyone after 8 o'clock. I think that rule's changed, but anyways, I get on the phone. He goes, Mrs. Eichhorst? Like, oh, it's a student. If someone calls me Mrs. Eichhorst, it's a student. So he said to me, you remember that shrimp recipe we did? And this was a student who had graduated like 2 years before that. But I knew his name, obviously, and I knew his voice, and he said, do you remember that shrimp recipe? Can you give me that shrimp recipe? And my heart just melted. It just, like, I didn't care what time of the night it was. And I get up and I read the recipe to him. He goes like, I just really like it. I want to make it right now. So, you know, somebody liked it along the way, and I've taught other people too. And hopefully this maybe is becomes one of your go-to recipes. And then here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to challenge you. If you comment on this, and I love comments, but it's like, I want you to talk to each other, just like in school. I want the students to talk to each other. So will you talk about what your signature dish is, what you do all the time, what is good? You can give a little synopsis. You can give a link to the recipe. That would be so cool. And think of all the people we could have sharing recipes here, and that would make my heart just melt too. So, all right, so here's the deal. I'm going to put the recipe, I'll put this at the end of the video so you don't have to write things down, and that will make it easier for you. So I'm gonna tell you how to do the shrimp, and I'm just gonna get started putting things in the pan. So you will need a big nonstick. Helps if you have a big nonstick pan like this. We're gonna put 6 tablespoons of butter in there, and 3 tablespoons of oil. So if you like if you want to measure it out like this, super. If you just know that 1, 2, 3, that's about 3 tablespoons of oil, that's all good. Okay, I gotta clean up my mess here. So that's our butter and oil. The sauce, this barbecue sauce, is kind of the base is chili sauce. Again, if you want to measure it out, it's, I'm looking at my recipe here, it's 3 tablespoons. I usually don't measure, I just kind of pour it in. So I'm gonna just pour it in. I don't know if you can see me pouring over there. 1, 2, 3 tablespoons of chili sauce. And then we have all kinds of other like spices and ingredients. Worcestershire sauce. You might want to measure this out. If you have one that pours, it might come out a little bit fast. So you might want to put a thing under here. About 3/4 of a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. And we can have a debate on how you pronounce that. We use liquid smoke in the last video that we did, and a little bit of liquid smoke. 3/4 of a teaspoon of that too. Maybe measure that out just so that you don't like overflow it. But if you put too much, you're just gonna have a more smoky tasting. It's okay, really, it's okay. All right, and then we're going to do half a lemon and half a lemon squeezed in, and garlic, 2 cloves of garlic. Don't mistake this big thing as a clove of garlic. This is a head of garlic, so you're just gonna take 2 cloves. You can mince it up. I have a garlic press, and seriously, one of my friends said, why don't you have a garlic press? Jen, thank you for telling me that. Because I was just always mincing, but I kind of like a garlic press. A garlic press, you can put it in there with the skin on there if you want. You can take it off. And I'm gonna press that in here. 2 cloves of that. Between cloves, I like to take this skin part out of there. And next one. There we go. All right, and a little bit of Tabasco. This is like a shake or 2. I put like 3 little dabs in there. And here's another tip for you. If you're doing spices like this, that again, this is for cooking, not baking, and you're like, well, we need, I think all of these are half a teaspoon. So this is my 1 teaspoon. I don't even really use my half teaspoon that much for doing this. So if you look, okay, that's about a half a teaspoon, then put it in your hand. And you're like, okay, that much is a half a teaspoon. So you never have to worry about getting your teaspoons out again when you're cooking, okay? So a half a teaspoon of thyme, half a teaspoon of oregano, cayenne pepper is a couple shakes, and paprika. I'm not gonna pour this out because this is a little bit bigger, so I'm just going to get about a half a teaspoon of paprika. Move all this stuff aside. And then we need some fresh parsley. I just took it off the stems. And if you're not familiar with chopping up parsley, if you just get a big chunk of it like this, kind of smash it down, use your bear claw, and then with your knife, just go through. And I'm cutting more than I need in the recipe because I'm going to garnish at the end. All right, so we need about half of that in there. And that's it. That's gonna be the sauce, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like in the pan. All right, it's gonna smell so good. So I want you to see how fast the shrimp cooks. So I have the peeled and deveined shrimp. You can put them in all at once. I'm gonna turn my heat up just a little bit because when you put something cold in a pan, right away it's going to lose a little bit of heat. So I'm placing all the shrimp, get them in there all at once. And it smells so good. You're just gonna love this. All right, notice the shrimp. I'm gonna put my timer on for 5 minutes. It might take even less time than that. So, notice the shrimp. They are like more straight, and when they curl into a C, it's good. If they curl into an O, you've overcooked them. So don't overcook your shrimp. They're gonna start to turn pink too. So see how they're turning pink. They've been in there maybe not even a minute, and it's almost ready to turn. So I'm gonna turn these. All right, that is it. We're gonna plate. All right, it's time to eat. Do you see how quickly that shrimp went together? 5 minutes of simmering, sometimes I do less. 5 minutes or less of cooking the shrimp in there, and like it's just gonna be delicious. So we're gonna make it look good though. Take your rice. I like to use a scoop if I'm getting fancy, and put maybe 1 or 2 scoops of rice. So you kind of keep it in its little place like that. Before I put the shrimp on there, I'm gonna cut the cornbread. Remember we made jalapeno cornbread with honey lime butter. My favorite is the edge piece where it gets a little bit crusty like that. So yummy. You can see the jalapeno, and when the jalapenos cook, they are not that spicy at all. So don't worry about jalapenos. It does give it a little bit of heat, but it's not gonna be like, oh, you can't even eat this. Set that on the side like that. This is our honey lime butter. I'm just gonna take a little dollop. Okay, that's a big dollop, but I love it. Okay, and then here we go. The star of the show is the shrimp. You can plate a couple here. Kind of remember, pile your food up a little bit so it looks kind of cute, and get some of this sauce. I know. Okay, so there is a lot of oil in there from the oil and butter, but seriously, people are gonna want that. So I drizzle it kind of on top of the rice. A little drizzle there. And get your plate looking nice, get it clean, and a little bit of parsley on top. Make it, just try this, you're gonna love it. Or make your signature dish and tell me what it is. So thank you so much for tuning in again. Someone said you have to get a YouTube channel, so I got a YouTube channel. Anybody can get a YouTube channel, so it's not that big a deal, but I'll save all my videos there. And I just thank you so much for, again, thinking of me. I loved connecting with everybody, and oh my gosh, I need to taste it. It's so good. Just watch me chew and then make it yourself. So, thanks again. Have a great super day, and just share what you love. Grace H, make sure you make this and take a picture and let me know what you and your husband think, okay? Yum. Bye, thanks for watching. All right, the rice. So everyone should know how to make perfect rice, and it's all about proportions. I teach my students this, and I think they know the recipe by heart. So it's always double the amount of water to rice. So I'm doing 1 cup of rice. Just stick it in your pot with 2 cups of water. Get it to a boil, and once it's boiling, you're gonna do these things really quickly. Cover, turn it to low, set your timer for 20 minutes. Do not lift the cover, do not stir. Just wait those 20 minutes and then you will have perfect rice. Don't forget to turn it to low though, otherwise it's gonna start boiling over.